to Boys Bible Study. I'm Ash. Of course, I'm a gold digger who dumps broke husband and lives to regret it. I'm here with
the true richest man in the world, Julian.
We're here and we have an episode today. We're stretching the format a little bit lately. I'm just going to be honest, but but you know,
it's about their morality tales,
right? So that's the thing, and like I've learned, or I've sort of synthesized over the year plus of doing this show that, like, you know, a Christian film is almost like a state of mind. Like, it's not just about whether it's about God or Christianity. Obviously, that's a huge part, but it's a state of mind. Like, once you recognize that style of filmmaking and storytelling, you start to see it in many other things.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces of media that we reference on our show that are not Christian movies, but they have that same feeling. Like Courting Chaos.
I was going to bring up Beauty and the Broken, which I almost insisted we do an episode on today, but we might leave that for the future. But
Surfer,
Teen Confronts Fear is a great example. Yeah. But these are all movies. Well, Surfer's in a league of its own, but you know, I would put Courting Chaos, Beauty and the Broken, and Dhar Mann, which is what we're going to cover today.
Spoiler
if you
alert.
Didn't see the title of this episode, I think all these things are in the realm of Christian movies because of the way the story is presented. Like, they're so didactic. Like, they're so like they're breaking the fourth wall. They're turning to you, the listener, and saying, this is what you should know. Like, this is what you must believe. And they see themselves as the moral arbiter of whatever topic they're on. And that creates for really interesting storytelling.
Yeah. It's just always so compelling to see. I think what we like to see is art created by somebody with a rigid point of view.
Yes.
And it's made even better when they think that, like, you agree with that point of view. It's like made for people who are equally insane.
Yep.
And it feels like walking into a fever dream.
Yes. And it's so refreshing to me. I think maybe because, I don't know, I mean, I've been involved in comedy and I finally will admit to myself that I've been involved in comedy for many years. I never
That's
really
the first step towards healing.
Yeah. Well, I was like, oh, my friends do that. I'm not like a comedian. But then, you know, we started podcasting and
you're more than just a chuckle fucker.
Yeah. So I feel like, you know, with media, we went through a strong period over the last 5 to 10 years of, like, we had to do anti-media. Like, you know, we had comedy, then we had anti-comedy.
Yes.
And, you know, eventually, you know, there's obviously people who do anti-comedy really well, but then it got to the point where, like, people were just using anti-comedy as an excuse to, like, have the benefit of the doubt if they, like, try to make any creative decision to say, like, oh, I was actually, like, joking when I tried.
Yeah, it's definitely become a crutch where, like, yeah, anti-comedy became something that unfunny people could just imitate. And it's like, it's just like being a 13-year-old and being random.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think, like, stuff like this is refreshing to me because it's nice to see someone who has, as you said, an extremely rigid point of view, who is very confident in the fact that everyone is going to agree with it and presents it with absolutely, like, no fear of the opposite being true because they're so certain of it.
Made so much better when that point of view is just so, like, juvenile in its understanding of the world and how it works. And in a way, I mean, is this stuff made for children? I know it's very popular with children.
Yes. The answer, I think, is yes, partially. According to some of the sources I was reading while we were watching. Let's officially intro the topic for today.
Was that an earthquake?
Was it?
I don't know. I thought I felt the shit. I thought I felt the couch shake.
Now I do too, but I wonder if it's suggestion.
Whoa.
Because sometimes I think I feel an earthquake and
yeah.
I'm going to take a break and search on Twitter to see if anyone felt an earthquake.
The guy's got over 12 million subscribers, and he doesn't know how to speak English. Kato, stop talking. Why? I'm not scared of him. The next time I talk to him, I'm gonna tell him.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Dhar Mann!
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you saying?
Huh? I wasn't saying anything.
Look, I know I pronounce certain words funny. The truth is that I have a speech impediment and I'm slightly dyslexic.
So let's officially intro the topic of today's episode. Of course, somewhat by request, I think at least one person asked when we referenced Dhar Mann in the past that we would cover him officially. So this is it.
Did we reference Dhar Mann?
We were doing some other bonus. Oh, we were talking about Fat Chance.
Oh, right.
We were talking about Fat Chance, and we brought up Dhar Mann because
that was like right when you had just shown me Dhar Mann.
Yeah, and Fat Chance, which we spoke about a month ago, also on the bonus episode, is another very like. It's in this category of Dhar Mann. It's like presented as an unambiguous morality play, but if you actually look at the scenario at hand, it's like there's no human that would ever act in the way that these people did. Yeah. It's like a completely fabricated like moral scenario. Enter Dhar Mann, one of the most popular YouTubers. His videos have tens of millions of views, hundreds overall. I believe he has like 10 million subscribers or something like that. This is an insanely popular content creator of recent times.
Where did he come from?
So the research that I did, which by that I mean reading Wikipedia and reading the New York Times article that came out a couple weeks ago, he is one of those like serial entrepreneurs, like the like shiny like tech serial entrepreneur, which is such a genre of person nowadays. Like I look at all the shit he did and I'm like, how the fuck did you ever have like the time or money to start all these like giant businesses that like all like fucking failed before you arrived on being like a Facebook court jester and
he's
somehow
got,
like became very famous.
He's got like the Bay Area tech bro, like positive vibe, but then he's putting that spin on Hollywood.
Right.
And content creation. He's a super positive guy.
So apparently he is the son of immigrants to the United States. From what I can tell, his parents owned a taxi company in Oakland, California. And they also owned a lot of real estate.
And to that I say, we are all immigrants.
Je suis, fucking je suis Dhar Mann. Yo soy Dhar Mann. Nosotros somos Dhar Mann.
Yes, we man.
Yeah. So Dhar likes to play up the sort of he came from nothing narrative, but from what I can tell, that's not quite the case.
About himself?
About
or just
himself.
in his works?
It's definitely in his work, and it feels to me from what I can see that he also sort of tries to play that up about his own life because we love a story. We love a rags to riches story, but I don't think that was the case. I mean, from what I can tell, it seems like his parents, maybe they were poor when they came to the United States, but from everything I can tell, it seems that they had plenty of resources later in life. They owned several like real estate properties and things like that. They had to have been doing okay financially.
Yeah.
In 2010, he founded a company called WeGrow, which is like supposed to be, it was like they were among the first people who sold like hydroponics supplies for legal marijuana. Kind of cutting edge at the time, I guess. In 2013, he had some sort of city beautification company that he was alleged to have defrauded the city of Oakland. He was charged with 5 felonies for fraud, which he like did like some sort of probation and paid $10,000 fine, and he was off the hook.
Isn't that what rich people do though? Like this brand of rich person where they just like promise like the world and then deliver nothing
Yeah, I mean, I really think that that's like the central thesis statement of Dhar Mann and his work, because like, isn't this such a type of person that we're now accustomed to and supposed to look up to nowadays? I mean, think about Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes. Like, we live in this age of like everything is speculative.
Yeah.
Like there is like nothing is real, everything is speculative. Like you use storytelling to just like inflate your value, and then you just like literally fake it until you make it in a way that, you know, has never been seen before.
Right.
I think it's pretty incredible. And it's really funny that Dhar Mann is this guy online who is like now legitimately famous and I'm sure successful financially for telling these really strange like mythologies, and that's like exactly what he did with his own life to get anywhere. It's just like very poetic and weird, you know?
I'm proud of him.
I'm proud of him. He's a great artist. Like,
Man
wouldn't you
defrauds
agree?
City of Oakland. You will not believe what happens next.
Okay.
Gold digging city shames fraudster.
Gold digging city
They instantly
dumps fraudster.
Yeah.
They instantly live to regret it. Okay. So you may have seen Dhar Mann's videos. If you haven't, do a quick search on him.
It's DHA. Oh, wait. It's in the episode title. Just look at your podcast app.
Well, the neat thing about him is that like Dhar, obviously, like many of us, uses the formats of clickbait to get views on his work. But his is so funny because of how like naked it is.
Yeah, I can't believe like people actually still format stuff. This is like very like
it's vintage,
buzzworthy, or
yes,
what was that
Upworthy.
website? Upworthy.
It's very vintage. It feels like 2010 to me.
Yeah,
but it still works. But like, here are just the most at the time of recording, the most recent videos. Kid fake sick note to skip class. He instantly regrets it.
The ones with the little kids are so fun.
Yeah, that's really good. And the kids learn lessons like the one we watched with the Halloween costumes, which we'll talk about. Oh, it's so funny. Kid has an imaginary best friend. What happens is shocking. Literally, each one just is either what happens next is shocking or he or she
Student
lives to
laughs
regret
at
it.
Mama's boy. What is this?
Students laugh at Mama's boy. What happens is shocking.
The words laugh and Mama's boy are in all capitals.
Yes.
Like that's another thing is it's always like some section of the title is going to be in all caps.
Mm-hmm.
The most important section. 10-year-old makes fun of Dhar Mann. He lives to regret it. The idea that someone lived to regret something is really funny.
I love that.
To me, it implies that they're going to die.
Yes.
Or be like grievously harmed because of this thing.
Yes. I mean, that's sort of what he implies, but no, like literally every single one of his videos, there's two options. They either live to regret it or something happens that is shocking.
Yeah.
Like that is literally every single one of his videos is titled one of those two things. And it works. I mean, you know, like you want to know like what is going to happen to these people. It's going to be shocking. It activates the sense of you that says, I need to see this story.
I gotta know, how could someone live to regret making fun of Dhar Mann?
Podcasters make fun of Dhar Mann. They instantly live to regret it.
I regret nothing. But I may be shocked by what happens after we release this episode.
We'll see. But
he's going to walk through this fucking door
with his big fucking smile on his face.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Dhar Mann fam. I hope you love that message. Please remember, we're not just telling stories, we're changing lives. And when you share my videos, you're helping to change lives too. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.
He's also frequently referenced in his videos, will appear in his videos, never as the main character, but always as some sort of like, oh, it's Dhar Mann, a cameo. Was he famous before this for anything?
I mean, I think just for his like business dealings and stuff like that. Like when I was Googling him, I found articles from before he was like video famous. Now just being like how one man like grew this company to be worth 20 million,
definitely
you know,
paid
like
for
all
by
that
his
shit.
own
Oh yeah,
PR people. So he's just been in this like idea of like, I must be the next Steve Jobs.
Yes, I must be a publicly successful figure.
Yeah.
He wants to be a public figure.
He wants to be Angeline.
Everyone wants to be Angeline. Like
Yeah.
Angeline is set the template for like our entire era of culture, which is like, you know, she's the only true artist out of all of these like fake successful people, which is hilarious because now she literally like begs out of her like, you know, pink convertible that she had. But
Everybody wants to be Angeline, but nobody wants to grind for it.
exactly. And that's what sucks is, people like Dhar Mann are just faking it, but, you know, they are the ones who get rewarded and the actual innovators like don't get their share like Angeline. But
you think you can get your dick sucked by Dhar Mann in the bathroom of Vaughn's in Hollywood?
dude, with those teeth, I don't know if I don't know if I'd want him anywhere near me. But yeah, you're right. He cameos in the videos. Often he plays like the good guy.
Yeah.
This is something that's very similar to Christian media because it involves a lot of auteurs self-mythologizing as like the good person or the successful person in all of their work. Maybe we could start by talking about the shortest video that we watched, which is one of our favorites, which is called Landscapers Accused of Stealing Lemons. What happens is shocking.
Hey, Paco, you guys stealing my lemons?
My name is Juan.
Whatever. You guys cannot be taking these. And look at this. Your shirt is full of my lemons. You filled up all your pockets.
Okay. And what is the problem?
Yeah.
So what happens in Landscapers Accused of Stealing Lemons?
So we got Deshaun.
Yes.
He's showing off his house to a woman he is trying to bed, I'm assuming.
Sure.
I mean, you know, a wise man once said, when you assume, you know how the rest goes.
I sure do. We can't repeat it on this podcast.
Yeah, he seems to be interested in having personal relationships with this woman.
Mm-hmm.
So
he will smoke and he will inhale. Anyway, go on.
he's showing off the mansion that he owns, according to him. And he says like, oh yeah. She says, oh, the fountain is incredible. And he says, oh, you should see the water bill. I even have to have these landscapers to take care of everything. And he gestures to two men in landscaping uniforms. And they start pulling lemons off his lemon tree.
Yeah.
And this one is so fucking close to the lemon stealing whores video.
Yes. It's worth mentioning that this video is a spiritual sequel to the famous porno clip, Lemon Stealing Whores.
I think that was the first video I ever saw on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
I only hope that the whores aren't stealing our lemons. You know, those naughty whores always steal lemons.
We do have a couple lemon whores in this community.
Those damn lemon-stealing whores.
I hate them because no one will take our prized lemons from us.
Hey, has it been about 10 seconds since we looked at our lemon tree?
It has been about 10 seconds till we looked at a lemon tree.
Hey, what the fuck?
It's a whore!
It's a whore stealing our lemons.
Yeah. It's, I mean, legendary.
Legendary. Like the epic of like pornographic storytelling.
Yeah. So he runs over to the lemon stealing whores and asks them what they're doing. And he says, you can't keep stealing my lemons. And they say, what are you talking about? And the woman says, this man, you're stealing the owner of this house's lemons.
Right. And
they keep saying, he's not the owner. And she said, what do you mean? Why do they keep saying that you're not the owner? And Deshaun's like, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. So many weird, like, alien communication going on here. I don't know. They feel like video game characters or something where they'll just like say the line of dialogue that they're programmed to say and then turn like 45 degrees and just resume their actions with whatever they were doing.
Yeah, everyone has dialogue trees.
Yeah.
It really is written like that. Yeah, he insists that he's the owner of the house. The landscapers deny it. Out comes, of course, the man himself, the Dhar Mann. And he says like, hey guys, I'm the owner. Keep on picking those lemons. Like, hey, Deshaun, is your dad going to give me the rent check for this month? And then, of course, the beautiful blonde bimbo finds out that not only does he not own the house or even rent the house, his dad rents it for him.
Yes.
So you lied?
To me?
Okay, so I don't own a house, I rent it. But I'll probably buy this house in the next few...
Oh, hey, Deshaun, can you have your dad call me? His lease is up for renewal.
Of course. I'll let him know now.
Thank you so much.
And, you know, he instantly regrets it. Oh, this is actually a what happens is shocking video.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, this one could have just as easily been a he instantly regrets it.
Yeah.
But they went for what happens next is shocking.
I think shocking. What happens is shocking is reserved for like comedy videos. And lives to regret it is like the
more
lessons.
dramatic videos. Yeah.
There's also a weird, like, definitely a strong hatred of women running through his videos.
Yeah, it's interesting.
There's a lot of anti gold digger videos. A lot of like women having to be subservient to men who underachieve but are rewarded for their loyalty.
Yes.
It's like every video is very much like rooted in a very conservative understanding of how like gender dynamics are meant to
agree.
work. Yeah.
I didn't actually think of that, but it's totally true. Yeah, there are often
the word so many gold diggers.
Yes, the word
when you
gold
pointed out
digger,
that the woman is definitely a bimbo.
Yes.
That is such a frequent character
yes.
in his things.
In
And
fact,
we don't mean to say like she's a bimbo, like trying to insult her, but this is the archetype that is clearly being channeled.
Absolutely. No, you're right. And they also have that one blonde actress who's like extremely beautiful, who always plays like the hot rich girl type. Yeah, they're like wolf whistling. They're like their eyes are like popping out of their head, and they're wolf whistling at this gold digger who is constantly. She's always dumping her broke husband, or in the other video we watched, the same actress is she's insulting another woman because her engagement ring is too cheap.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
She also spilled water on the floor and slipped on it. She was also a scammer.
Yes. Yeah, that one actress, she's always typecast as a sort of unsavory woman in some capacity. But you're right. I mean, to make your larger point, women are sort of in his videos are just attracted to men for the most like primal and stereotypical of reasons, either because, they have money, the men have money, the women are too lazy to get anything for themselves. And they are sort of like prizes to be won. Like the men are like, oh, I don't have enough money. I can't get a hot girlfriend,
But the good ones are with men who are poor, but work hard and are just one day plucked from obscurity and given millions of dollars. And then the fact that the woman stayed with the man is the reward for her obedience.
Yes.
And not like the joy of being with another person is a reward in itself. The reward is that you stuck it out with this person, and now they're going to give you all the same shit that the rich people already have.
Yes. Okay.
But they're going to be nice about it.
Very much so. Okay. So that is another huge point, and I think it might be worth jumping to the one I just referenced. Gold digger mocks poor woman's ring, she instantly regrets her decision.
Hey, babe, you're not gonna believe this.
Hey, sweetheart, what's up?
You know that promotion I've been talking about?
Yeah?
Well, I got it!
Oh my God!
You're now looking at the new senior director of Dhar Mann Studios!
Oh my gosh, honey, I knew you would get it! I'm so proud of you!
Thank you. But I couldn't have done it without you. That's why I decided to get you the ring that you really deserve.
This, as we said, stars the same woman who was in the landscaping video. And yeah, you're right. What's so funny about Dhar Mann's videos, this is a recurring theme, is they allege to teach these moral lessons about how, money isn't so important. Yeah, loyalty is more important than money, but the reward for any good person in his videos is money. Like that's like what it comes down to. At the end, she stays with her man, and then he's like, you know what? I did buy you a fancier engagement ring. I did buy you the new Rolls Royce, which afterwards they just sit in the parking lot opening and closing the sunroof for like 15 minutes because they're so enamored with it.
That's really funny. They're like feels like they're heavily rooted in like the same philosophy that like prosperity churches operate on. Where,
very
like,
much so.
If you act in accordance to the Bible's principles, you will be rewarded with money and material wealth. But then also in like a really bastardized like Eastern philosophy, and like it's like very much it has this very strong belief in karmic retribution.
Yes.
Because in this video, like the woman instantly regrets making fun of the ring because the poor woman, quote unquote, her husband was promoted in one day from production assistant at Dhar Mann Studios to like studio director or something.
Senior director.
Senior director. And he already bought a Rolls Royce and a new engagement ring. Just in one afternoon, he was able to do all this. And the gold digger lady, her husband was caught using the company credit card to buy all this stuff, and he was fired. Those two things are completely unrelated from each other. Her making fun of the ring and her husband getting fired.
Absolutely.
But the lesson is like, I guess, don't be mean to people because one day you'll lose everything.
Yeah. You'll be on the other end.
But it doesn't really make any sense at all. Like,
no.
Yeah, it was just, it's also like what so much of these lessons are dependent on you like believing that having expensive things is like what life is about.
Absolutely. That's really the central like thesis of his videos, like,
which is insane because we also have the Bill Gates one.
That one we should definitely do next because that adds a really interesting curveball to his theories. But no, you're right. I mean, similar to the way that these like prosperity gospel churches are not really just upholding the Christian religion, but also like the religion of American capitalism and all the like weird superstitions and like maxims that we have to sort of believe in order to keep that system intact.
Yeah.
Like the religion
steal sugar packets every day and you'll one day be a billionaire.
Yes. Like that is what Dhar Mann's videos are completely about. Just upholding the religion of American capitalism. And you have to like deify certain figures and certain archetypes in his particular way in order to be like, you know, given the keys to the kingdom. Such nonsense. But like one thing I love about the video with the woman mocking the ring is that he reveals that his own company in the mythology of his videos is like a sort of financial like gatekeeping institution that is supposed to reward the moral people and punish the immoral. He says a PA, oh, what are you, just a PA? They only make $40,000 a year, which
is not true working at Dhar Mann Studios.
It can't be true. I want to get into that too.
Yeah. Anyways, what are you doing outside of Dhar Mann Studios?
I'm waiting for Andre. He works here as a production assistant.
What? A PA? Don't they only make like $40K a year? Girl, why would you want to be with a guy like that?
That doesn't bother me.
Well, it should. Derek works here, but he's a senior director and he's pulling in like 6 figures a year.
Wow. That's great. Andre has goals to become a senior director one day too.
There's no way I think that's very
maybe
generous.
$8 an hour.
I think that's very generous of Dhar Mann to claim that he pays his PAs $40K. I do not think that's true.
According to what we read, it would be a stretch that he pays anybody who works for him a salary of $40,000 a year.
Yes. He also claims that his senior studio directors make $100K. Which who knows, that could be true, but
still not enough to buy a Rolls Royce.
No, not at all. Especially in one afternoon. They gave him the afternoon off to buy a Rolls Royce because he got promoted. But it's just so funny because like just there he shows that how he feels about like people climbing the corporate ladder. Again, if you're a rich person, you are a god.
Fiddler on the Roof.
That's your cultural contributions are very important to this show.
If I was a Dhar Man.
Okay, calm down. But okay, so in Dhar Mann's world, as is the case for like many things in American society, like
Boy Meets Dhar Mann's world.
Okay. Boy makes fun of his teacher, Mr. Feeney. What happens? I don't know. So if you're a rich man, then you are the god of your world. You know, you're a moral actor. You oversee and dole out punishment and reward according to your own moral factors. You must be a moral person because you've attained this level.
Right.
So Dhar Mann, he must be a moral person because he's attained this level. He has this company. He now has the ability to like play house. And he's like, well, here's the position you work from. This deserves 40K. Here's the position you attain. That deserves 100K. It is up to me to determine like who is worthy to pass these gauntlets. And everyone just sort of has to be like a smiling like actor, you know, always putting on their best and positive face, no matter if they're at the bottom or at the top. And anyone's world can be shaken up or changed just at the snap of a finger by the man himself.
Do you think he wants to be God?
Yes. I think that
Dhar Mann who would become bigger than God.
I think he does. I mean, I think that's like, that's what all these billionaires have. I mean, Dhar Mann is not a billionaire, first of all. He wishes.
Yeah, just like Trump.
They all
remember when people were always saying that?
Oh, right, that he's a billionaire?
No, that he was, they would be like, he's not even a billionaire.
Oh, right. I love that. Well, that's so funny because that upholds the exact same sort of like religion of capitalism that we're all going
where
with
it's
here.
like, you're not where it's like not good. It's good to be poor and work hard, but it's also good to be super rich.
Yes. And so when Trump was, people were like, he's not even rich enough.
Yeah.
Like that was like what the last criticism they had of him.
So strange.
Very. What a weird.
We deserve Dhar Mann.
Honestly, Dhar Mann could be president. Do you think?
I mean, how long until his core audience can vote? Like another 15 years?
Yeah, he could do it.
I don't even want to know what the fuck is going on with Dhar Mann in 15 years. I hope I'm dead.
I don't know. I want to know what's going to go on with the American political system in 15 years. It's probably going to be insane.
Yeah. I don't want to die, but I just want to be on to the next stage of consciousness.
Yeah,
I guess.
definitely.
I want to be like a
put me in VR,
a Nebulon in space or something.
Yeah. But yeah, like I want to say in some way that like Dhar Mann like lays bare the lies of capitalism in a way like never before seen. Like he's just like not afraid to come out and say like what a fucking like arbitrary like
it's a joke.
It's such a joke.
The gold digger dumps boyfriend after he gets fired, lives to regret it.
Mm-hmm.
That was like quite possibly the most insane one in terms of like the universe is chaos.
Pablo, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore.
You can't do what? What do you mean?
I mean that when I first met you, you told me that you were going to start your own business someday and that we were going to live in a really nice place. And yet, we're still living in this dump, and now you're unemployed.
Well, I'm sorry. My life hasn't gone accordingly to your plan, okay?
You know what? I'm leaving.
Okay, no, wait. Where are you going, Shelby? Wait, look, we can...
Pablo, I need a man that can give me what I deserve and provide for me. And clearly, you're not that man.
There's like no rhyme or reason to anything. But in this instance, it works out for this guy.
Right.
Where he got fired from being a line cook. Somehow had a gold digger girlfriend who just like took him at his word that he was like, I'm going to own a business one day. and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to get in on the ground floor of this gold digging operation.
I'm going to sit on his couch while he's at work all day, and then when he comes home, I'll be mean to him." But
the emotional gold diggers.
Yes,
is what
that's
we're
where
talking about here. But then he loaned his friend his last $500, and his friend went to Vegas to bet it on the Raiders are playing the Bears. And he won the bet and then some.
Yeah.
And so the guy's able to start his own donut company.
Yes.
And then everybody fucking, back then they didn't want me, but now they.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love
I don't know how the rest of that line goes. But it's the Mike Jones song.
Yeah, like I love that. Yeah, that all that video does is celebrate the chaos of the universe, like you said. Basically the moral of that video is you should gamble.
Yeah,
because gambling bought that man his entire life. Like,
right.
He was nice and he lent his friend $500. His irresponsible friend stole the money and gambled it, and then gave all the money he won back to the guy, which also would never happen. If it was your friend who stole $500 from you, there's no way he would like pay you the money he won gambling. Or he would,
It's also a weird thing to like loan somebody $500 and then like 2 days later be like, "Can I have that back right away?" Like, what did this guy need? Did your friend was just like, "Hey, can I borrow $500 so I can eventually use it?"
Well, that's the thing about all
Typically,
of Dhar Mann's
people
videos.
when they ask you for money, it's because they need it right away.
Right. Well, that's the thing about Dhar Mann's videos. Like, everything is just a symbol. It's like a moral symbol of some kind of like interpersonal transactional exchange. Like, every little gesture you make doesn't really matter to you or your life because you have to bear every success or hardship with the exact same like weird fake smile on your face. It's just like a symbol. You're constantly just accruing this kind of like karmic capital with everything you do. And yeah, it'll come back. You'll be poor all your life, and then at the end of the video you'll be happy. Or
it's also, we never see this guy do anything to make us think that he like deserved his own business.
Right.
If that is our like the logic that we're operating under, like good person, you get business.
Right.
Like we just know he got fired.
Right.
From a seemingly shitty job. Where like there's a really weird interaction where the boss comes in and is like, there were budget cuts. Our cooking staff has been laid off, but we run a restaurant. And we decided the first thing to go when we did the budget for this upcoming year was the chefs are the first thing that need to be.
They kept the waiters. There was like a waiter that
was the
by.
thing. The waiter walked over and like gave this weird look, and there was like, I don't know, I thought there was gonna be like a thing where the waiter conspired to get the cook fired. But no, nothing came of that. It was very strange. Yeah. So yeah, that guy came back and he said that he came back to the donut shop and was like, "Hey,"
his former boss comes back to the donut shop and he's basically like, "So I actually, can I hire you back as our head chef?"
Yeah. It turns out we need cooks to make our food at a restaurant. The all waiter restaurant is not working out.
It's a good concept, but it's just not working out. And the guy says, "No, I have my own donut shop now." And the guy's like, "I understand."
And then he gets FaceTimed by his ex-girlfriend. But there's nothing that like makes us think like, oh, this guy probably fucking sucks.
Right.
Judging just by like the person he's like partnered up with when he had nothing.
Well, he's an avatar of niceness.
Yeah.
And that's all Dhar Mann is. And that's all in his world. Like, Dhar Mann is so cynical. Like, there's no meaning to him or anything in the world. Like, all you do is you project an avatar of aspiration and like things come to you. So if you complain about any sort of injustice in the world or in your life, if you do anything outside of the system, you are a dissident. Like, you are untouchable. I mean, God forbid, like, you like complain about your boss or say that like you deserve anything better than your station in life. Which with that, should we talk about the richest man in the world video? Because I think this really like puts a bow on Dhar Mann's like vision of money and society.
Yes, absolutely.
How does that video go?
So what is it called? The New Richest Man in the World. This one has a really funny title.
Yeah, because this one is more of a narrative. It's not
okay.
It's one of the very few videos that doesn't have a "what happens next will shock you" tag at the end. It's simply called "The New Richest Man in the World."
I am not the richest man in the world.
What? I'm sorry, but if you're not the richest man in the world, then who is?
A man I met a very long time ago. Someone far richer than I am. You see, 35 years ago, I didn't have much.
Yeah, so this one starts with Bill Gates. Oh, actually, it starts with a title card that says based on a true story. Then we see Bill Gates, or a man playing Bill Gates, sitting across from a woman who is interviewing him. And this is a really riveting interview where she just says, Bill Gates, you are now the richest man in the world. You are worth $1 billion. Tell us, how does it feel to be the richest man in the world?
Right.
And Bill Gates says, well, to be honest, I'm not the richest man in the world.
Right.
And jaws hit the floor. What do you mean you're not the richest man in the world? Have we made some mistake here?
Mm-hmm.
And then he proceeds to tell the tale of the man he met when he was younger and didn't have 2 quarters to his name.
Teddy, I remember this character's name is.
He tells the tale of Teddy, the newspaper vendor.
Yeah.
Who gave him a free newspaper
when
he was writing checks for 50 cents that would bounce. And in a simpler time when 3 adults would gather around a fire hydrant and throw a basketball to each other.
The background acting in this video was out of control. It was like an avant-garde ballet or something like that.
So every set in these videos looks like shit too. Yeah. But it's like they look like they are like 1,000 by 1,000 square feet, and then they like decorate them with like 4 tables and like 2 extras.
Yes.
So every place seems
there's always a plot of AstroTurf.
It feels like you're watching a very someone playing The Sims on like the most advanced computer. Like the Large Hadron Collider is playing The Sims and you're watching. But man takes ladder out of pool, instantly regrets it.
I was gonna say the Large Dhar Mann collider.
Man, that what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, the set in this one is, and they reuse a lot of these sets. But this one is really weird to me because it really does feel like I'm watching how the world looks in my dreams, where it's like it's supposed to be outdoors, but it's very clearly shot in like a big warehouse.
Yes.
So you never see the sky, but everybody's dressed like it's outdoors, and it's just like really weird, like overhead lighting. I don't know, it's really just putrid to look at.
I think that's part of why his videos do so well, is they sort of touch that place in your subconscious.
Yeah.
In your unconscious, I should say. Yeah.
So anyways, the people throw a basketball around a fire hydrant there. It's very, very weird.
While Bill Gates is talking to Teddy, the poor, should be mentioned, I think, black newspaper man. I think that the casting, it does a lot of storytelling in Dhar Mann videos. He deploys like diversity in very interesting ways by, of course, this man is black. He owns a newspaper stand. Bill Gates, doesn't have 50 cents. So the man takes 50 cents from his own tip jar, which only has 50 cents in it.
Right.
And gives Bill Gates a newspaper. I don't know why Bill Gates needed a newspaper that bad on this particular day. Couldn't you just read one and then put it back on the shelf? I don't really understand what the problem here is.
Bill Gates is the poorest man in the world on the Washington Post headline.
How times would change.
Yeah. So in the future, I guess in the present, Bill Gates has told this story And then for whatever reason, he's like, oh, I actually stopped in with him just before this interview. So we go to another flashback to 10 minutes ago where he gives Teddy a blank check from Microsoft, thanking him for giving him a free newspaper all those years ago, for believing in him. And Teddy gives the check back. He says, hey, your money's no good here.
Bill, I appreciate this, but I can't accept this. I'm sorry.
But are you sure about that? I mean, you could open up a new newsstand or buy a house or anything, whatever you want. You would be rich.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bill. But like I told you all those years ago, being rich ain't about what's in your bank account. It's about what's in your heart. And right now, I got everything I could ever need.
What can I say? You are truly an inspiring person, Teddy.
And this part of the video just made me so sick, because the way that like the actor playing Bill Gates takes back the check and is like, Teddy, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yep, I'm sure. And Bill Gates is like, Teddy, you are a very inspiring person. And it's just like everyone is just so happy with themselves. That is like disgusting.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing is so fucking disgusting. Like,
but it's like so weird, because in other videos, it's like you're supposed to keep doing your stupid job, because one day somebody is going to go and give you everything you ever wanted.
Right.
But then in this one, it's like this guy's been working at the same newspaper vendor, selling newspapers for 50 cents for 40 years. And finally, Bill Gates comes back and gives him a blank check, and he refuses it, and that makes him a good person.
yes, he finally got the karmic reward that he had been building up toward his entire life, grinding in obscurity and poverty, so he could get the happy ending from the Dhar Mann video. It comes to him and he turns it down. So he's still just the best person, and
yeah.
But Bill Gates, he also
is the best.
Grinded
person.
his heart. He also is the best person because he earned the money. What did he do to deserve the money?
Yeah,
and this is where the Dhar Mann universe is so fascinating, because it continually tries to like ascribe order to capitalism, but in doing so, it shows just like how completely arbitrary and chaotic it is. And like he's never really able to tie up the loose ends of like why some people deserve money and some people don't.
Yeah. It's also just like love the idea of a person who the video calls the richest man in the world, telling you that telling you that money can't buy happiness.
Yes. Oh God, it's so sickening to me. Like, it's just so funny. Like, yeah, just this whole culture. I mean, you see so many people buy into it too.
Yeah.
Like so many people around the world who are just like stuck in these like, these like situations where they're clearly just like grinding by with barely anything and doing their best to stay positive and hey, listen, whatever gets you through the workday, I guess. But these like lines that these like rich people like fill us with to try to make us feel good about like all the labor that we're like grinding in to just like build up their empires is just like, God, it makes me so sick. Like
it's really sad. It's hard to be mad at I mean, you could be mad at them, but like people for like supporting Trump or like supporting like bullshit liberal politicians. Cause like capitalism has a like bajillion-dollar PR industry behind it, just in like fucking little koans that people say to each other to just keep them from losing their fucking minds from doing the most banal, busy work just to keep their head above water.
That's so true. It really is true. I mean, what can we do? Like, it's all turned into feudalism. Like, what can we do? Because like, the disparity between rich and poor has gotten so much that like, like these people these celebrities that either are rich or pretend to be rich, like they are our feudal lords, like that we basically ascribe like a sort of religious grandiosity to them. So yeah, you almost can't really blame anyone for venerating that.
Yeah.
But
like you see the fucking like the all the Hollywood stars like saying like, oh, I stand with the strike. Like,
right.
Like, motherfucker, where the fuck were you when you were like signing the contract to get paid $300 million to be in the Avengers? Like, last I checked, you could have said something back then.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, a couple of those $1 million could have, I don't know, gone toward, like padding the rest of the paychecks.
Yeah.
I don't know how this stuff works.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just talking out of my ass.
No, but I agree. Like, there is something to it. It's just like,
in Dhar Mann's world, like the lip service is all that matters.
Exactly. God, yeah. What do you think Dhar Mann has to say about any worker that goes on strike? Like they're not participating in the grind set, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're not grateful for their lot in life. And so at the same time as, Dhar Mann is, oh, actually, no, wait, I remember what I was going to say. I remember I was taking an Uber very early in the morning because I ran very late for work, and I took a Uber to get to the bus stop, which is a mile away, which is like where I usually walk there. I didn't have time. And then on the drive on the way there, the driver was listening to like motivational like things on Spotify, which were like legitimately, it was just like soaring trailer music.
Yeah.
And like a man like screaming over it, being like, you gotta make today the best day like of your life, just like really early in the morning, like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And there was like sounds of like crowds cheering and like soaring like music. And it was just this like motivational like sounds.
There's not
like,
much of a difference between that and the Godspeed song.
That's actually really true. This is probably more authentic than like Godspeed You Like Emperor music, if you ask me. This is like, post rock for real people. But yeah, I just like, that was just a really bizarre experience to me. I mean, this is, I just can't really trust any art or recorded sound that's like meant to convince you that you can be rich if you just put on a smile and like accept your lot in life. It just like makes me really upset, and that's why the Dhar Mann videos like hit me really hard.
I mean, people do whatever you need to do to motivate yourself to get out of bed in the morning, but like this shit is so just heinously gross.
It's bad for society.
It really is.
I think so. So the other funny thing, of course, about Dhar Mann is that why is he a successful entrepreneur? Because we allege that he probably cheats and mistreats his workers.
Yes.
There's not a ton of evidence.
That's the official stance of this podcast.
Yes. I say allege. I obviously don't know for sure, but there's little pieces of evidence.
We're drafting up the documentation to file with the courts.
So if you go on Indeed and Glassdoor, which are places where you can review your employers, almost all the reviews on there are positive 5-star reviews. They're all written in a very similar way. And all the headlines are things like great leadership, or like I met my tribe of creatives was one of them. And it was just like, something just doesn't smell right here. Like, I don't understand why are all these people leaving 5-star reviews? They were blown away by their like PA job at Dhar Mann.
Well, that's because they became senior director. At the end of it.
They were the good guys who worked hard and got promoted to senior director. They bought their Rolls Royce and they're loving it. 5 stars. But I noticed there was one review that had a 1 star. And so I read it. And it was the only one that the grammar was a slightly different style than all the other ones. It wasn't like terrible grammar, but things weren't like capitalized in all the proper places.
It felt like a real person was writing.
Yeah. It felt like maybe like a real person wrote it.
Yeah.
And it said, do not ever work here. This man hires security guards, and that's
when people would find like notes written and sewn into garments.
Yeah, yes. It's absolutely like that, but like on the walls of glassdoor.com.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it was like literally like, don't ever work here. What he does is that he hires security guards, and that's like the lowest paid role at Dhar Mann. And then he has them do janitorial and PA work, such as like cleaning things up all day. And that's like most of their day. So one little detail that we've determined is he basically saves a lot of money.
A gun the whole time.
That would be sick. They should just let everyone who works at Dhar Mann carry a gun.
Yeah.
If you're an editor or a janitor or an actor. But like, so here's one way he saves money by hiring people for certain roles and then paying them to do like 3 roles at one time.
Yeah.
Also, according to Reddit, what he does is he hires people, and there's a 3-month discovery period where you only make associate level pay. So you make an entry level salary. I'm assuming that's like what, minimum wage or whatever. And you work for them for 3 months for him to discover if you're a good cultural fit for the organization.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think that's about?
I mean, you know, some people really show their true colors after 3 months.
Yeah.
And how are you gonna know? No, that's pretty fucked up. I mean, that's why people are trying to go on strike. Although I don't think that Dhar Mann operates under union guidelines.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing is that, you know, he would be classified as web media or new media, and he certainly wouldn't have to employ union.
Kind of piece of shit who's like, oh yeah, it'll be a good credit for you, or like, you get paid in exposure,
right? Yeah, and like I mean, I would imagine that 3-month period means, I mean, all his videos have the same style. You know, you can train people probably in a week or 2 to edit in the way you want, and I'm sure there's maybe a couple people on staff who are actually there. But you know, I mean, you just there. I want to say I have a couple Indeed.com job searches set. And there are always jobs posted for Dhar Mann. They come up very frequently. And I know it's not a huge company.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe that there's a lot of turnover, meaning that I'm going to guess they let go of a lot of people after their 3-month discovery period. They say, hey, you weren't actually a good fit. And they keep cycling new people in because Dhar Mann is making this very famous content, you know?
Yeah.
And people want to get a leg up in a very competitive industry. Which, yeah, believe it or not, this guy who's the rich, like, moral arbiter of, you know, the reward and punishment in a capitalist system is actually, like, very likely, not confirmed, but in my opinion, very likely doing it by just, like, fucking shorting everyone he can in every way he can.
What else? Should we describe the other ones?
Yeah, I mean, what's the only other one we didn't do? I guess the only one we watched for this is
the Halloween costume.
I mean, is there anything too notable about the Halloween costume thing? Does it explicate any more of his worldview? I mean, I think
we mentioned it, and it's Halloween, so
yeah, I think
that makes this the Halloween episode for us.
I guess, yeah.
Hey, honey. Don't tell me that's your dad's car.
Yeah? Why?
Now it makes sense why you shop at the dollar store. I wouldn't be caught dead in that thing. Check out my dad's ride. It's the new Rolls Royce. It costs $300,000.
Wow.
I mean, I think like the main funny thing about that episode is, 2 little girls have a confrontation in a parking lot because one's father bought her Halloween costume for $200. The other one is, you know, recycling it from like trash.
Yeah.
And I love when the dad of the poor girl drives up and the other young lady is like, that isn't your dad's car, is it? My dad has a Rolls Royce.
It wasn't even that bad of a car. It was a Honda Fit.
That's the other funny thing about his videos is that the bad car in his videos is usually like a pretty clean, like average looking car, like any normal car that you would have. Like, it's like nice that they even had a car, you know?
Oh, the really funny part in that one was the girl being like, your dad got you a cardboard box for your costume. My dad spent $200 on this. And she pulls out like the cheap shit that you buy at like HalloweenTown.org, the business that opens up in the burned down Kmart.
Yes.
And it's like, yo, your dad's a fucking idiot if he spent $200 on that.
Yeah, it literally might as well have been digging around in the trash. Of course, Beth, the poor girl, wins the costume contest that night. She dresses up as a hot air balloon.
Yes.
And then everyone is somehow like surprised when she reveals that the costume was made out of trash. Even though she was like
still very clearly trash.
It looked good.
It looks great, but it's like it's no surprise that it's made out of trash.
At the end, the mean girl gets upset and storms off. But the mean girl's dad still compliments the poor girl on her costume.
It's just psychotic ending.
Yeah, because it implies
that
the girl is like not like 7 years old. Like, you know, she's like a little kid, like, you know.
Yeah, it's just so weird.
Well, I mean, this does kind of bring back to what you were asking at the beginning. Like, is his stuff for kids? According to the New York Times article that came out in August, like he knows and intentionally appeals to kids. Because, you know, the messaging is very clear. They're these sort of like weird morality tales. He says he does them in plain English and avoids like idioms and stuff like that. So children and like non-English native speakers can enjoy them.
Yeah.
Which, hey, you know, that makes sense.
We skipped over way more troubling videos than this. There's a lot of very, very disturbing ones on cops and homeless people.
Yeah, that's really true.
And like so much more. We're trying to keep it light here.
Totally.
With the Dhar Mann videos.
I suppose.
But these can go some dark places, especially when you think that these are targeting children.
I agree. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we sort of like picked at random for this episode because, you know, we just enjoy watching.
We're just looking for the funniest ones.
Yeah, which I do think that the lemon stealing landscapers that's probably the funniest video. Like that one's so good. But you're right. I mean, there's the one where the homeless woman is like faking being homeless, and then you said the guy wins a Pulitzer Prize for.
Yeah, I think he wins a Pulitzer Prize for writing for like the Old York Times for exposing this woman. It's so demonic. Like every step of the way, I thought it was going to like at some point be like, hey, you shouldn't just assume like a homeless person is trying to take advantage of you. But it does not go that way.
Yes.
Well, what if I were to tell you this woman wasn't actually handicapped?
You offended her. Of course she is. Why else would she need crutches?
Hey, that's a great question. Why don't we ask her? Excuse me, ma'am, why do you use crutches? That's right. My bad. You can't talk, can you? Rose McDowell.
You know her name?
Yeah, I've come to learn a lot about her, including the fact that she can walk. Otherwise, she would have never been able to get into her Porsche.
Of course, there's the other one, you know, briefly where there's one Black Lives Matter protester in an alley and there's one cop. Like there's the only two people.
And like the
for
protest
miles.
is like this white lady with like pink hair or something.
Right.
And
Yes.
she's like, ban all cops. Ban all cops.
And the cop is like, come on, you don't know me.
Fire all cops! Fire all cops! Hey, sign this petition so we can finally get rid of the police.
Get rid of the police? What are you gonna do when you need help?
They're not gonna help you. They're all bad.
And then the only third person from miles around is like a mugger who's dressed like a fucking like again like the Sims, like when you go when you can become a cat burglar in the Sims. The man's dressed like the Hamburglar and he like runs out and like takes this like Antifa member's purse and she's like, help, police.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
It's so fucking annoying.
It's no, but you're right. It's like it just goes to show like Dhar Mann has no patience for anyone who challenges the system at all. If you're doing anything to undermine your boss or the political status quo, like you are out.
He's like a, what would you call that? Like a radical status quoian. There are no problems. He's a radical utopianist.
Yes.
There's no problems exist in the world.
Yeah.
Well, should we wrap it up then?
Yeah, I was just going to say we should give Dhar Mann the official Boys Bible Study rating show. Hey, we might have to come back to this guy again because he just has endless amounts of content. If you're not familiar with him, give him a watch on YouTube. Support indie content creators, you guys.
I'm going to give him 5 out of 5 lemon stealing whores because that's what he deserves. He worked really hard his whole life.
You're a nasty landscaper, aren't you?
Yeah, I believe in the man. I love him.
You're right. He
great.
He worked so hard, just starting corporation after corporation, and just like.
I know we talked about what was that Revolutionary War movie we watched?
Behind the Mask or Beyond the Mask.
Yeah, like that and this are like the two aesthetics that speak to me the most. In terms of media.
Totally.
These are like things when I see, like, I don't know, there's not like a lot of things that I like really enjoy, but when I see shit like this, I will just like watch it for like hours on end.
Yeah, I too like stuff that feels like it takes place deep within the unconscious. And no, Dhar Mann, I totally get that. I love. You said I don't like many things, but I only like when people are dressed like they're in the Revolutionary War or when they're like Silicon Valley grifters. I think that's very special.
Just like these weird, way oversimplifications of the world are just so fascinating to me.
Understandably, Dhar Mann kicks ass. I'm gonna have to give Dhar Mann $1 billion out of $1 billion because he deserves every penny.
You just
of
made
it.
him the new richest man in the world.
Mr. Mann, how does it feel to be the richest man in the world? Well, I'm not the richest man in the world. There are actually 2 men I can think of. And they do my favorite podcast. And I have become their subscriber on the $1 billion tier. That's right. In 1 month, I am giving Ash and Julian and Scott of Boys Bible Study all of my riches. And Patreon takes 30% cut of that. So Jack Conte of Pomplamoose, another fucking tech grifter, can get rich.
I was honestly, I was not expecting this at all. I can barely believe what just happened because I remember when Dhar Mann sent us that email saying like, I would love to subscribe at the 50-cent tier.
Right.
But I'll write you a check. Just don't cash it.
And we said, no, here's the RSS feed.
Yeah.
Mr. Mann, here's a link to the RSS feed.
You'll get all the bonus episodes, all the regular episodes.
Yeah. And then, then he pledged $1 billion to us and we gave it all back. But here's the thing. Patreon had already taken the 30% cut. So we actually lost $300 million.
Oh, man.
Because we paid him back in full what he paid us. But,
we'll keep grinding.
Well, we'll keep grinding, dude. 300 million in the hole. That's 300 million new friends I can make along the way.
Yeah. Well, when this comes out,
what's 300 million divided by 5? 60 million. All we need is 60 million new subscribers to make up for it.
How do you do this math so fast?
I'm actually really good at mental math.
I'm terrible at it.
Well, I will say thank you so much to all of our generous patrons for listening to this episode. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support, especially our patrons at the $20 tier.
We should get like AI generated Dhar Mann voice doing this part.
I wonder if there is such a thing. Well, shout out to Nicole, Marissa, Jeff, and Jane. Thank you so much for your generous support. Our outro music is "Oh My God."
Subscribe to the lemon stealing whore tier.
To cut all this shit. We're making no sense. Okay. Our outro music is "Oh My God" by Mary. From all of us here at Boys Bible Study, myself, Ash, my co-hosts, Scott and Julian, we would like to say, peace be with you.
And also with you.
Was that your Dhar Mann, dude?
Yeah.
Very good.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I feel your love in me, it's coming from within. Oh my God, my devotion is so unwavering. Divine emotions when you enter me. Every day